Hey everyone, I am back with another video that is about the female reproductive system. If it talks about the female reproductive system, it consists of two parts, very well, internal organs and the external organs. In this video, I'm going to talk about the internal organs of the female reproductive system. But before we start, let's discuss the function of the female reproductive system. The basic function of the female reproductive system is to create hormones, and along with that, it is also responsible for your fertility, for the menstruation and sexual activity. It's all about the function of the female reproductive system. Let's start the external parts one by one. The very first part is the vagina. Vagina is actually a muscular canal which is made up of muscles, and it starts from the cervix to the outside of the body. Here, this is the portion of cervix. Below the uterus is cervix, and after cervix the vagina starts. Your cervix is that portion which connects your vagina to the uterus. And if it talks about the location of vagina, it is located below cervix to the outside of the body. This portion is called the vagina. In some situations, when we talks about the childbirth, vagina widens. It increased in size to carry the baby for some time for the childbirth. Okay, it widens to accommodate the baby, and after that, after the delivery, it shrinks back to the original size. It's all about the vagina. And the next part is the cervix. Yes, the second part of the female reproductive system is the cervix. Here you can see this is the part of cervix at the lowest part of uterus. Below the uterus is a neck-like region, tunnel-shaped region or organ called the cervix. Basically, cervix word is derived from a Latin word which means neck. Sometimes it is also called the neck of uterus because it is present below the uterus, so it is called neck of the uterus. Okay, and it connects your vagina to the uterus and allow fluid to pass between these two parts, just like uterus and vagina. Okay, and there is a hole in the mid of the cervix which allows sperm to enter the cervix and allow menstrual blood to exit your body. And during childbirth, your cervix dilates and baby comes out during your childbirth. It's all about the cervix which is present below the uterus. Now, the third part of the female reproductive system is your uterus. Let's discuss. Yes, let's talk about the third part of the female reproductive system, that is the uterus. Have a look in this diagram. This is the portion of uterus. Basically, uterus consists of different sections. Fundus, cervix and corpus are the sections of the uterus. This is the uppermost section of the uterus. This is the lowest section of the uterus, and corpus is the largest part or the main body of the uterus which expand during the pregnancy. Let's start. Uterus. Okay, uterus is basically a hollow and pear-shaped organ. It is hollow and pear-shaped organ, and it is the place where your fertilized egg implant and your fetus grow there until childbirth. This is a portion where your baby grow until childbirth. Okay, the uterus hold your fetus. What is fetus? When your female and male gametes, just like sperms and the egg cells combine, they convert it into zygote, and when zygote develops, it is converted into fetus. It is the point, uterus is the point where fetus is present until the childbirth. Okay, and basically it consists of two main parts, the cervix, which we discussed in the previous portion, and the corpus. Corpus is basically the main body of the uterus. Okay, and it expands during your pregnancy. There are basically three layers of the uterus. Perimetrium, the outer layer of the uterus. Endometrium, the inner layer of the uterus, which shed during your menstrual cycle and released as a blood. And the last one is myometrium, which is the middle layer which expand during the pregnancy. It's all about the 3 layers of the uterus. It is hollow and pear-shaped organs. It holds your fetus. There are 2 parts, cervix and corpus, and it is the portion where your fertilized egg implant and the baby grow until your birth. It's all about the uterus. Yes, the 4th part of the female reproductive system is ovary. There are 2 ovaries present in females. Basically, ovaries are small and oval shaped glands which are present or located on either side of the uterus. This is the uterus, and on either side of the uterus a pair of ovaries is present. Okay, and the function of ovaries is to produce and store eggs, and it also produces hormones. Basically, 2 hormones are produced by the ovaries, estrogen and progesterone, which maintain your reproductive cycle as well as the menstrual cycle. It's all about the ovaries. Yes, the last part of the female reproductive system is the fallopian tubes. There is a pair of fallopian tubes in female reproductive system. You can see this is fallopian tube and this is fallopian tube. Basically, it is a narrow tube. Inside it is hollow and it is made up of muscle. That is why it is called muscular duct. Now let's talk about the location. They are connected, the fallopian tubes are connected to the upper part of the uterus. Basically, it acts as a channel between the ovary and uterus. Here, this is the ovary and this is the uterus. The fallopian tube connects ovary to the uterus. It acts as a channel. If it talks about the function of the ovary, every month your ovary releases egg, and these eggs are moved in the fallopian tube by the movement of fimbriae. Okay, each month your ovary releases egg and that egg moves into your fallopian tube. Here your eggs moves and stay there and wait for the sperm for the fertilization. When the egg in the fallopian tube became fertilized, it moves into the uterus and implant here, and the remaining growth occurs in the uterus. Okay, the fertilized egg moved from the fallopian tube to the uterus. Always keep this in your mind that fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube. Your ovaries just release the eggs and deposit it in the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube is the point where the fertilization occurs, and from the fallopian tube the fertilized egg moved into the uterus and remaining growth occurs in the uterus. It's all about the fallopian tube and all parts of the female reproductive system. Thank you.